It's time for Coffee Talk. I'm first warning meteorologist Eric Burris. It is a cold and wet and gray start to the day. And the good news, it doesn't last for too long. The bad news is that winter is really coming in full force. We've got a lot to chat about in the world of weather. So let's just get right to it. Let me just bring you right out to our tower cam perspective. This is a shot looking over at the Kennedy Space Center. Gray, wet. You can see the American flag in the breeze blowing around. This is playing out across all of our tower cams in Central Florida. So let's get right over to our first warning Doppler radar. I spent a lot of time working on this yesterday, so I'm very happy at how it's kind of turned out and looking very forward to using it in some new calibration. But that all said, let's just kind of take a look and see what's doing right now. We'll zoom into the metro area, and you can see those showers kind of slowly exiting, but there is some rain in Orlando. Actually, a nice little pocket of heavier stuff about to move in toward Winter Park and Maitland, Altamont Springs. More rains kind of heading over toward Geneva and eventually kind of working over toward Oak Hill and Edgewater. But over to Brevard County, my friends here to the east, that is where we have been watching the heaviest of rains over the last few hours, as a matter of fact. You can very clearly see the pockets of yellows and even oranges and reds, that heavier rainfall. It's not strong or severe, but it certainly is frustrating rains. Let me just stop this and see where we're getting the heaviest stuff right now. Around Cocoa Beach, Merritt Island. We'll zoom in even closer. This is just south of the port around Rockledge. You can see around Tropical Trail, out near Edgewood High School, Lake Andrew Drive, Cocoa Beach, and then another little heavier pocket there just north of 192 around Lake Washington and Vieira. Live radar sweeping through Deer Park Road. Again, nothing strong, nothing severe, but certainly everything in the frustrating department. So where does our forecast take us today, okay? So we head to about 62 degrees by 12 o'clock. We head to about 65 degrees by about 3 o'clock. So we're kind of in that window of slightly warmer temperatures, but it's also not, it's just not a great look, right? The clouds are going to linger. And, you know, I posed the question yesterday, what do you call the dog days of summer's equivalent in the winter? Because that's where we are. Yeah, it's just not a beautiful forecast. I'm sorry to tell you. Now, that said, we do have some adjustments, okay? So let's just take a look at the overall perspective. So we've got that storm system out in the Gulf. It is going to be sweeping across the state, and as it does so, it is going to eventually help to clear things out just a little bit, okay? Jessica's asking, are we going to see some sun today? The short answer is not really. Not really. Yeah, let's take a look at Futurecast, shall we? Let's just start things off right now, and obviously Futurecast has those showers just kind of scattered throughout, right? You could see the rain. Bottom left corner kind of shows you what the radar looks like. The bigger perspective shows you what's the Futurecast model output. But watch through time how today we do gradually clear that moisture out. So the morning does appear to be among the wettest of the time frame, because through the day we do kind of try to bring out the moisture, but we keep the clouds. And then notice overnight a sprinkle or two possible. Then for tomorrow, as that storm system sits off of our east coast, that's 7 a.m. for example, as the storm system sits off of our east coast, we'll shift to more of like an onshore easterly fetch with those showers focused on our east coast. And then Thursday, late, we start to clear out the clouds. Cool, right? We're heading in the right direction, right? Ish. It will only be a temporary reprieve from the clouds, because looking ahead to Friday and Saturday, we actually have even more moisture moving into town. Oh man, looks like a bad accident. I just got a WESH 2 push alert. Person dead, multiple taken to hospital after crash involving 5 vehicles in Orange County. I've been tweeting all morning. Saying things along the lines of, don't drive like a knucklehead, or things like that, right? Because you hear about the accidents, you know that it's going to happen because people drive crazy. People drive terribly in Central Florida. And I'm a Central Florida native, so I feel like I'm allowed to say that. we have some of the worst drivers around, right? It's not just me. Like, I'm not just me as in I think I'm a pretty good driver. I definitely don't drive crazily, but it's not just me making that observation is what I'm trying to say, right? Like, there are bad drivers. Anyway. All right, so you can see the temperatures in the bottom left corner of your screen. 55 in Orlando, 52 degrees in Leesburg, 51 in Ocala. We do warm up just a little bit. We are up to about 65, as a matter of fact, today in Orlando, about 64 degrees in Sanford, 62 degrees in the Villages, and about 57 or so in Ocala. So, yeah. Yesenia says, good morning, seeing a black screen here. Is that what's happening? No. Valerie, where I just heard sirens. Let me open up the Wesh 2 mobile app. Oh, Raquel wrote the story. Okay. Troopers were called to the crash John Young Parkway and Blackstone Drive around 4:45. Multiple people were taken to the hospital where one person later died, troopers say. That's a shame. The northbound lanes of John Young Parkway are closed at this time. All right, so that's not fun. Stella, calm down, girl. Come here. Hi, sweet girl. Yeah. Alicia says, yes, worst drivers. I mean, right? Like, it's not something that I... Hi, sweet girl. It's not something I like, you know? But it is what it is. No, the drivers here are so bad. It's just we don't have to drive poorly. Like, that's a choice. We make decisions on how we drive. Stephanie says, turn your headlights on in the rain. Don't rely on automatic headlights because it's when it's somewhat light out, times they won't turn your headlights or taillights on. And don't drive with the flashers on. Right? Man. All right. So that's where we are for now. We've got a nice moisture-ridden setup for today once again. But that storm system does eventually start to move out. And as it does, our temperatures start to get milder. But notice we keep those showers along the East Coast. Then as all of that moves out, we start to watch on Friday the perfect storm of sorts. And I say that not to like compare it to the actual movie The Perfect Storm in that scenario. Hi, sweet Stella. I know you want all of my attention. But the perfect storm in terms of how do you get the coldest air possible into Florida? You get colder air moving in. That's step one. Step two, you get a storm system developing east of you. Yeah. So what is it? 728. So 28. I just want to do a quick calculation. 747. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we are entering into yet another cold snap comparable to the Thanksgiving cold snap on the LRC, okay? That scenario there, storm system off to our east, cold front moving in, that is going to allow the temperatures to just get disgusting cold. I posted this on Facebook and Twitter yesterday. We are talking about disgustingly cold air. So how cold is disgusting cold? Well, let's just take a look at things, okay? First off, let's just take a look at our weekend forecast because that is a highlight. All right. High temperature on Saturday, 50. Wind chills through the day. Well, I guess I'm not going to go to Disney because when I do, I'm outside. And, you know, with the little kids, not probably the best day to be out with the kids. 50 degrees, high temperature Saturday. Getting disgusting cold Saturday night into Sunday morning. Do you recommend evacuation by Saturday? I would say evacuate to the Caribbean, but that's pretty much my normal like thing anyway. Like we should probably just always go to the Caribbean. Sally, good morning, Eric. Are we talking flurries in Melbourne? Possibly. Absolutely not. This would be, so that's a great question. This would be the perfect scenario for snow if that low, let me just fast forward to it. If that low was closer to us. So there's forming Friday. If that low stayed closer to us and the cold air got here as the low was still nearby, that would be the setup for snow. But the low is pulling away. Notice Friday into Saturday. Watch this. Low pulls away as the cold air marches in. There will be no moisture in place for there to be flurries. So it's going to be cold, but we're not talking about flurries in our area, okay? Yeah. It's just going to be disgusting cold. All right, so this weekend, jackets. Let's go into full freak out mode. I'm just kidding. Let's not do that. You don't need to buy the bread and the milk. It's just going to be the coldest air we have seen in some time. Case in point, last freeze in Orlando. Over 4 years ago, back in 2018, okay? That said, let's look at the forecast temperatures, shall we? Let's start off with Saturday afternoon. Saturday afternoon, high temperatures. High temperature of 48 degrees in Ocala, 50 degrees in Leesburg. Yeah. Nikki says, ugh, don't like that temperature adjustment on Saturday. Kids are going to rock the universe. Just jackets. We're just going to have to do the whole jacket thing, you know? Yeah. Should I have canceled my solar ground mount installation today? No, there's nothing severe. It's just cold, cloudy, and crummy. Yeah. So that's where we're at for Saturday afternoon. You ready for Sunday morning? All right, here we go. Sunday morning. Wow. 31 in Orlando, 29 in Claremont, 26 degrees in the Villages, 24 degrees in Ocala. Yeah, that's what we're looking at for Sunday morning. For the rest of the country, that's winter, that's cold. For Central Florida, it hits us. It hits us a little differently, right? So we have to remember you want to make sure if you're using a space heater, you want to make sure to be careful with it, right? Because so often this time of year we run into issues where space heaters burn houses down and frankly take lives. So proper use of a space heater. Make sure that the space heater is in good working order. If you're using, like I have a central air and heat in the house, just make sure the thing's working, right? Charles, why does the coldest air of the season have to come in on Rolex race weekend? I know exactly what you're saying, bud. I'm 100% on board for you. I get it. Jerry says, I feel for the campers at the Rolex this weekend. I get it. As I was putting together the forecast for the Rolex, I was thinking to myself how everybody out there for the 24 is going to have to bundle. I mean, you're going to have to bundle up, right? Here's the forecast for the Rolex. Hi, Stella. I know you're trying to get my attention. I'm still here. So let's go through this here. 1:40 p.m. That's when we fire the thing off. 49 degrees, okay? Midnight, 38, feels like 32. But that's not the low. The low temperature drops off even more than that because the low temperature, remember, hits at like 7 a.m. And then by the finish of the race, it's 51. So if you are heading out to the Rolex this weekend, yeah, make sure you've got heat. Make sure you have ways to stay warm. Seriously. Hot chocolate, coffee, whatever it is. I mean, it's going to be that cold. Kenneth says, so you will buy the Rolex 24 jacket. I mean, there's that. That's a good reason why the cold air is moving in, right? And he says, skipping the 24 this year. It's too cold. I mean, yeah, as long as you're bundled up, right? That's the big thing. Stephanie says, I might have to put on real shoes for the weekend. Might even be too cold for socks and flip-flops around the house. Yeah. Under Armour, there you go. Sonia says we got an RV. Ah, okay. Well, that'll keep you warm. You know what's interesting? I don't have my RV's heater cranked way up. That'll do it. I would say because I've lost so much weight, I don't have an actual proper winter coat that fits me anymore. I'm going to have to figure that one out. I'm going to probably have to go buy a winter coat next couple of days. Yeah, I just don't have. I've got some lighter coats, and you've seen that, but I don't have anything. I don't have anything like that. So, hi, Stella. I'll have to figure something out. Barbara says, get your fruit trees wrapped in a warm blanket. Well, yes. So let's talk about freezes and hard freezes and all that fun stuff. Where are you? Hold on. Here. All right. So let's just look at Futurecast model data. 7 a.m. 7 a.m. Actually, before we even go over that, hold on. Sausage needs to be made. I need to. Chris Pierce corrected this on Twitter, and it didn't get fixed. Stand by. All right, so what we're doing is we're using Futurecast model data to look at frost and freeze areas, okay? I'm just going to run it to right about, I will do 637, like right in there. Yeah, all right. So that's Futurecast, 7 a.m. Sunday. What are we looking at here? These are the areas that are going to get frost, freeze, hard freeze. Now, frost is not as much of a concern because there's going to be a little bit of a breeze. But you notice what areas are shown under the freeze. Basically everybody. What areas are shown under hard freeze? Our northwestern areas and our more rural spots, okay? So what is the difference between a freeze and a hard freeze? And we'll come back to this, okay? But what's the difference between a freeze and a hard freeze? Well, you know you're going to have a freeze warning post that says tonight. Ignore the tonight part. These are just canned graphics that need to get updated, okay? But that's not even the one I was looking for. Hold on. I'll find it. This is what. Hard freeze. Okay, so what's a freeze? A freeze means that temperatures will get down to freezing or so for a couple of hours, give or take. But a hard freeze means that temperatures are going to drop into the 20s and cover a large area for several hours. So it's going to get into the 20s for several hours, and that's the concern. So again, let's come back to our Futurecast product. Hard freeze, Sumter, Marion, Lake, extreme rural West Orange and West Seminole counties. Temperatures dropping into the 20s, we think. The rest of town in kind of that purplish shade, the lighter purple. Yeah. Freeze. And then wind chills on top of that. Wind chills on top of that. Getting down into the 20s. Yeah. So you can very clearly see where this upcoming weekend is some major, major stuff. Now, that said, we've got technology, we've got computer models, so that's just kind of a simplified look. Now let's dive into some computer models and try and get a little more data, shall we? All right, so first off, this is the NBM, the National Blend of Models. Okay? What is the National Blend of Models? The National Blend of Models means it takes the GFS and the European and it takes all of that and it puts it together. Sue says, so hard freeze beachside Daytona? No. Hard freeze? No. It does look like, if you look closely, here, I'll open it up so that we can zoom it in. No, we're not talking about a hard freeze for beachside Daytona. Let me move this over and shrink you down a little bit. Again, sausage is made mode, so give me a second. I knew I was going to be doing some more technical-y stuff. Which is why I used my computer inside. Okay, so you're asking about beachside Daytona. The answer is no. As a matter of fact, beachside Daytona, you can see you're in that freeze section there. Yeah. Now, down around Ponce Inlet may not even get down to freezing, according to Futurecast. Right? Hold on a second. Let's do this. Yeah, that's a better way. All right, so around Flagler County, let's just take a look. Around Flagler County, you can see how once you get inland of I-95, that's where we're kind of talking about the pocket of the hard freeze. The rest of us, though, are into that freeze category, right? Over to Marion County. Basically, Marion County is going to be that hard freeze spot. For Sumter County, looks like you're going to be hard freeze, right? At least that's what Futurecast is showing right now. For Lake County, northern Lake County around Paisley, Lake Mac, Forest Hills, out near Sorrento, you're kind of on the borderline there. You get down around Zellwood and Apopka. But, you know, it's like out in the Wekiva Springs Basin. That's where we're talking about the differences of like hard freeze versus freeze. But, you know, this is all just model plots, so you've got to keep that in mind. Disney World down through the metro, it does look like we're into freeze territory. Even down into Brevard County, you know. I would put the asterisk of like right on the barrier island, probably a frost. And then right along the water, probably a frost. But as soon as you head a few, you know, again, model plot only. But as soon as you head inland a few blocks, you get into that freeze. Okay, so that's, again, this is all raw model plot. But you get the idea. And then up around the port, and then up near the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, the Kennedy Space Center, it's kind of trending a little bit more like, yeah. All right. So let's look at the models. I want to show you the raw model output and just give you an idea. So we start with the National Blend of Models, the NBM, okay? And let's just step. That is Sunday morning. And what this is the 24-hour cumulative low temperatures, okay? I know that it's kind of hard to see the county lines. 31, that is Orlando International Airport. 32, that's Orlando Executive Airport. 29, that is Sanford. 27 is DeLand. 32 is New Smyrna Airport. 30 degrees is Daytona Beach. So you can kind of see here, it's going with 24, the National Blend of Models. 24 in Ocala, 26 in the Villages, 29 in Leesburg, 31 in Kissimmee, 33 Melbourne, 32 Titusville, 36 out at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, 33 at the Shuttle Landing Facility. So the National Blend of Models is by far and away giving just about all of Central Florida an inkling of a freeze. Okay? Super cool, right? Yay. Love that. Okay. That said, what about raw models? And I'm not doing the double box here because I want... Actually... I want the text to be just as big as possible. David, did you move your office around again? I just moved the desk. I've got it set now where when I want to do coffee talk in here, I can move the desk to shoot this way, and then I can move it back around afterwards. So that's kind of what I wanted because this is a much nicer shot behind me at least, okay? All right, so that said, so that was a look at the National Blend of Models. Let's take a look at the model now. Let's switch over and let's look at the European model, okay? Now we have to go to the 0Z because the 0Z is going to be the model that'll go out further. So top left corner, ECMWF, that's the European. And what we're doing is we're looking to, that's 12Z Sunday, so that's Sunday morning. This is the European model showing its forecast low temperatures. 25 in Ocala, 26 in the Villages, 28 in DeLand, 28 in Orlando Executive, 30 Orlando International, 30 degrees in Kissimmee, and you can kind of see there, 32 New Smyrna, 30 degrees Daytona, 32 in Melbourne, 30 in Titusville. That's the European. Let's go one model run back on the European. And it's really not much change. Let's switch over and let's look at the GFS model, okay? GFS, top left, GFS. And this is 24-hour minimum, 2-meter temperature. GFS is going for a little bit milder in the metro area, a little bit milder across the entire area. That's the 6Z. Let's look at the 0Z. It was colder in the 0Z. Let's go to the 18Z. It was a little colder in the 18Z, and it was a little bit milder in the 12Z. So what we're seeing is this, okay? What we're seeing is this. The models have not yet come into agreement here, okay? Which, okay, big surprise. The European is definitely colder than the American. Okay. So we'll have to work this through and just kind of figure it out as we go along, right? But for right now, that's where we're at, is that the European is going to be the colder model. So with that said then, where does that leave us? Well, let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. All right, and I've brought it full screen because I want to really be in depth. 65, a little milder today with rains. Thursday and Friday onshore wind, a little milder with rains, yes. Okay. Then Saturday, Sunday, it's literally disgusting cold. And I mean, I'm just, let me level with you. Like, that's going to be a very rough temperature for us. And yes, everybody can make fun of us, and that's fine. But that's for Central Florida. I genuinely get worried because look, I have been involved with the American Red Cross for such a long time. I know what this cold does. It does spark fires because of people improperly using space heaters or space heaters that they shouldn't be using. And that does worry me. All right. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, very cold. Very cold. Dory, question, will hurricane season be crazy like this? I mean, hurricane season will have things that we have to watch for sure. I'm actually very much at work right now on our 2022 hurricane season forecast. Yeah, so I'm working on it. Becca says, I cannot stress enough to turn off the space heaters when you leave the house. I hear all the time of people leaving them on and they come home to a burned down house. When you leave a room, right? There's so many of these. There's so many of these things. Alyssa says space heaters are fine if you use correctly. 100%. It's just like a car. As long as you use it correctly, you're good to go. But when you speed and drive like a knucklehead, you end up getting into a car accident. When you, it's just like anything. Be responsible, right? That's all. Susie says, I enjoy short cold snaps, sweaters, boots, nice memory when we're dealing with the mid-August mugginess. Yeah, well, this is definitely kind of a bit of a longer stretch, isn't it? This is the dog days of summer, winter equivalent, right? And while the rest of the country deals with this a lot, we don't. So this is, this is our version of that. That's all. This is our version of it. Tanya, Eric, I saw on YouTube that the Tonga volcano could make Florida winters colder. Do you think that's true? I know nothing about. I haven't looked at that at all. I know nothing about that. I'll have to look. Amanda, disgusting cold is such an accurate statement. We are not built for that level of cold here. I mean, case in point, I don't have a jacket that will sustain that, so I'm going to have to go find a jacket. Is there like a Burlington coat factory? That's still a thing. Yeah, that's still a thing. All right, I'm going to have to go find that. Will it be warmer in Alaska? I don't have that in front of me right now, but let's just check temp. I mean, it's, let's check temperatures right now. It's not that cold right now. Well, let's just we could do a quick comparison. All right, so these are the low temperatures forecast for Sunday. I'm just going to simply go to weather.gov and I'm going to hit Anchorage, Alaska. All right, so Sunday morning, our low forecast in Orlando. It's funny, I pull up Anchorage, Alaska, and all I see is snow in the forecast. Sunday's morning low is 10 degrees. Sunday's high in Anchorage is 20 degrees. So no, it's not going to be that cold, thank God. But, that's cute. Right? Oh, man. Courtney, I get nervous to turn on our heater. Our neighbors a few months back around Thanksgiving had the attic catch fire. We think from them using the central heat. Well, another thing is to replace the filter. I need to do that in my heater as well while we're having this conversation. Burlington dropped the coat factory part. So it's just Burlington now. Okay. Got it. There's a Burlington in the Sanford Mall. That was the last one that I went to, Becca. Yeah. Bruce, how come it can't be this cold when I'm Santing? Well, funny, Bruce. This cold is directly tied to our Thanksgiving weather. If I were to pull up the weather for like November 27th and 28th, yeah. Highs dropped from the 80s to the 60s and 70s at the end of November. And LRC-wise, this is directly tied to that. So that's why, because by the time you got into December, we got into warmer temperatures, which we are about to enter into. Looking ahead to February, February, cycle day 53 through 60, cycle day 53 through 60 starts a warming trend. So early February, we start out chilly, and then we do start to favor warmer temperatures into February. All right. Kenneth says, I wish Burlington was in Titusville, Cocoa, or Merritt Island. I dislike Melbourne, Florida traffic. Sorry about that. Chris, family here now from Alaska. Oh, well, making the best of it. Yeah. My thoughts are colder winter, milder hurricanes. The colder the ocean, the better. You know what's interesting about that, though, Donna? You know what the problem is with that? I agree with that point, with that sentiment. Here's the problem, though. Give me a second. I will find this graphic. You ready? Now, this is what it is. Temperatures, though, in the ocean right now are running above average. For what it's worth, temperatures in the ocean are running above average. Yeah. Oh, well. We will have a brown tour with the power companies. Power out will be a nightmare. I mean, I hope not. Sue says I'm making crock pot chili. I may have to throw some chili together. Michaela, what about using the central AC unit heater? Any concerns? That's what I do. I mean, I will say, though, just like anything else, you have to make sure to maintain it. I have a maintenance plan, and I don't even want to, I don't want to say who all right, I'll say it because I pay for it. So I use Delair for a maintenance plan. I've not had to replace a unit with them, so I can't speak to that. And this is by no way, shape, or form an advertisement or anything. But I'll just be honest with you. So I use them, and I pay X number of dollars a year, and they come out twice a year, just before winter and just before summer. And the guy was out here for like 4 hours this year, just checking everything. And I do that because I want to know, as I move from season to season, I want to know everything is good for my unit. I want to make sure to know that we're good to go. So yeah, so the gentleman was out for probably 4 hours inspecting my unit this year. So my suggestion, it's not that much money when you can prevent issues or know about issues. And I believe it even comes with like a discount deal. So anyway, yeah, I do that. My stepfather taught me to do that. He does that on his house. And it's nice to know that somebody twice a year comes and just checks out the unit. So I'm very good with that. I'm very good with that. Eric says that's crazy that the ocean is warmer than normal and so cold across the country. I know, and that's where I'm not terribly excited about hurricane season for that fact alone. That's all. All right. Any questions, comments, concerns? Otherwise, we've run a couple of minutes late, but it's an understandable. It's a very, very active little weather pattern that we have here, so it's an understandable extension of Coffee Talk, if you will. Arnett says there were 725 manatees in Blue Spring Monday, breaking records. I wonder how many more there will be in over the weekend. I hope they can handle it okay. I agree. Kathy, we do the same maintenance plan, but with another company, ready to replace the unit soon. Okay, yeah. And I'm sure other companies do it. I just use this one because that's who my stepfather used, and so I took that. I am not giving you an endorsement because, A, I pay for it, and B, there are other companies that may be better. I'm just telling you that that's what I do. Susie says, smart, Eric. I was a GM for an AC company, and maintenance is critical. You know what you just don't want? You don't want that cold snap coming and your heat doesn't work. And you're just frozen. Like for me, I don't care. I'll freeze. I don't care. But like I've got babies and I don't want them to freeze. They don't deserve that, right? When it comes in for summer, you don't want to be schwitzing in the house. You just don't. So if you've got somebody to just eyeball the unit and then you know it's good and it's like, okay, this is perfect. We're good to go. That's the way I look at it. You know? Marilyn, I came in the middle of the conversation, so I don't know what you had checked, but they do have rebates for people who buy new units. Oh, yeah, we're just talking about, I have a maintenance plan just to make sure that everything is good. So anyway, all right, that's what I've got. Annette, is it really going to be 20 this weekend? I would say in some areas, temperatures will drop into the 20s. I would then go on to say that wind chills will be in the 20s. Let's check that. I didn't update that on Coffee Talk this morning. Let's check the feels like temperatures. Are you ready? Sunday morning. There's your feels like temperatures on Sunday morning. Wow. It will feel like the teens and the 20s. Gross. Shannon, we just started the AC maintenance plan for that reason. We also had new insulation added into the attic this year. Perfect, yeah. I will just say it gives me good peace of mind. Look at those numbers. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. We will survive. Just be careful with the space heaters and all that, okay, people? I'm over winter already. Bring back the sun. It's funny that you say that because this weather, if it has shown me anything, it's that I'm glad I did not move to New York when a job opportunity was present. Seriously. All right? All right. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. On a cloudy day like today especially. I will chat with you guys and gals later. Thank you so very much for hanging out for Coffee Talk. We will talk to you a little bit later on.